All right, welcome everybody. I would like to thank everyone for being here today, our presenters and our guests. My name is Lisa Lefevre. I'm with WestEd, and I'm just helping to facilitate our great session today. Our session today is joined by 4 presenters, and it's on the importance of work-based learning for students, both in person, and of course, in the virtual space of our world today. I'm just going to quickly ask everyone to keep yourself muted during the session, but all questions can go on Whova, which I will be moderating for our speakers today. We will take a brief sort of intercession between each presentation to answer any questions that come up. But again, please keep yourselves muted and also your videos for now. At the end, if we have time, we can open it up, and I would love to get a screenshot of all of us here today. So I'm going to allow the presenters to present themselves, and we can kick off the meeting. So presenters, Alex, are you able to share? Great.
Yes. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right. So I guess we'll start off each by introducing ourselves. So thank you guys again for joining us today. Again, this is the session on the importance of work-based learning for students, both in-person work-based learning as well as virtual work-based learning. I'm going to kick us off. My name is Alex Becker. I'm a program specialist at the San Diego County Office of Education, and more specifically, I'm on our college and career readiness team. And I guess I'll kick it over to Veronica next.
Thank you, Alex. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Middlebrooks. I am one of the work-based learning specialists for Grossmont College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maci Gerber, and I'm the work-based learning coordinator at Cuyamaca College.
Hi, everyone. My name is Pavel Consuegra, and I am the work-based learning specialist for Grossmont College and also for San Diego Mesa College. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll be hearing from all of our speakers today. But again, I'm going to start us off. And so before we get started, I just wanted to create some context around our discussion today, because work-based learning is a part of student career readiness. And so when I talk about career readiness, I'm referring to student proficiency in 3 buckets of skills. So we have technical skills, which is what you do on the job. So this can be knowledge of how to operate certain types of software, equipment. It could be math skills, fluency in a foreign language. You get the idea. The second bucket is essential skills or soft skills, and this is how you do that job. So it can be social skills, how you learn new skills. It can be how you manage your work. And then the third bucket is application skills, or how you articulate the skills that you have so that an employer says, this is the person we need to work at our organization. And they're all important skills, and they're things that I think to some degree students are learning in school, in K12 and in college. But work-based learning is another key way for students to develop these skills further. So what is work-based learning? I like to think of it as just education and employers coming together to help students think about a future career and then how to prepare for that career. And it can take a huge variety of forms. And we typically think of it on a spectrum of rigor and intensity. So on the left here, you can see activities that are less involved, require less rigor. And on the right, you have more involvement from the student and are more intense. So starting on the left side, we have activities that fall under the career awareness category. My colleague in K12, Ed Hidalgo, likes to say, students cannot prepare for a career they don't know exists. And that's what these activities are about, just generating awareness. So career fairs, guest speaker presentations in classes, career assessments, where students are matched with certain careers based on their work environment preferences, their interests, their skills, etc. Moving towards the middle, you have career exploration. And I like to think of this more as observing professionals in their natural habitat. So going into a work site, taking a tour, seeing different roles, and how people interact with one another, how they dress, how different roles affect the product or service that that organization is working on. Also informational interviews, one-on-ones with a professional. And then last but not least, all the way to the right, the highest involvement, highest rigor, career preparation. These are where students are applying skills and potentially applying skills in a real world work environment. So job shadows, internships, and then one of my favorites and that I'm really trying to plug during distance learning, industry involvement on projects. So having employers create case challenges or provide feedback on student projects so that students can practice using real world skills that are needed in the workforce. Okay. I included this slide because I think it's important to note that work-based learning is not just for students. It's really important that educators, teachers, counselors, administrators also have an awareness of the economy and the labor market, because the better that a counselor understands what are the in-demand skills, what do employers need, the better they can guide students towards their desired career. So just making sure that educators are up to date on their labor market information and their career knowledge. So attending externships and industry panels. And then some things we want people to take away from a work-based learning activity. So we want students to understand different career fields, what are the different entry-level positions, and what are the pathways that extend from those entry positions, and what's expected of them. What are the skills that they need to enter into that occupation? Going hand in hand with that, what are next steps? So what do I need? What skills, education, training do I need to get from high school or college and into that entry-level position? These are both things that work-based learning activities experience with different employers can help with. Additionally, work-based learning also helps answer that question of why for students. Why do I need to learn this? It helps them make connections to current learning. So you have students who might be thinking, why do I need to be studying English and literature? And then they go on a work-based learning activity or several work-based learning activities, and they realize that communication is actually one of the most important positions or one of the most important skills for multiple sectors in our economy. So helping them make that connection of, oh, I need to know reading comprehension. I need to be a good communicator in order to be a successful employee and have a successful career. And the last, but definitely not least, learning and applying work-relevant skills. So let's say we have a student, they want to enter the culinary field. Maybe after a work-based learning activity, they speak to some professionals and they think to themselves, you know what? I need to start practicing different cooking methods at home, learning new recipes, working with different ingredients, etc. And then I'll be more prepared for when I apply for that internship or entry-level position. So these are all things that we want students and educators to take away when they participate in a work-based learning activity. Before I jump into resources, I did want to highlight one thing that's been coming out of the labor market data for the last few years, and that's the importance of essential skills. We've been seeing labor market data both from the Workforce Development Board here in San Diego Workforce Partnership, as well as the Centers of Excellence at the community colleges, that a big thing that employers are looking for entry-level positions. So these are the positions that are going to be filled by our recent high school grads or recent college grads. They're looking for strong essential skills, strong soft skills. And you can see this poster here on the right gives some examples like emotional intelligence, communication, resourcefulness. But why are these so important? For these entry-level positions, employers aren't expecting students to graduate college, graduate high school with 5 years of relevant work experience. It's just not feasible. So they're planning to train entry-level employees in the technical skills relevant to their specific organization, their specific line of work. What they need in these entry-level candidates are people who know how to learn new skills, who know how to behave in a professional environment, who show up on time, who are properly dressed, who aren't on their phone when a client is in the room. And so that's why the essential skills are such a key component to entry-level positions. For educators, essential skills are also important because they're transferable across sectors. So I get this question a lot, especially from middle school teachers. Hey, I'm working with 7th graders, 8th graders, or maybe even 9th graders for the high school educators. By the time they graduate and enter the labor market, the whole economy is going to look different. There's jobs that don't even exist currently that they may be applying for. How do I prepare them for that? I always say focus on the soft skills because they're always relevant. They're relevant to any sector. Everybody needs problem solvers. Everybody needs creativity and collaboration. All right, let's dive into some K12 resources. Actually, first, do we have any questions, Lisa?
No questions, Alex, at the moment.
All right, cool. All right, so I want to share some resources. These are for K12, but they're open to everyone. So so if you're a community college educator, don't tune out yet. So I'm going to take us to our website here. Can you guys see my screen okay? Or am I still on the PowerPoint?
Nope, your screen's good.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. So this is our website, and there's a ton of resources here for students, educators, employers, and more. But we're going to focus today on sector resources. So, and I'll drop these. The links are in the slide, but I'm also going to drop them into the chat later. But we're going to start with sector resources here. So on our website, we have broken up our resources into the 15 sectors that that the California Department of Ed divides the economy into. And I know the sectors have different names for the community colleges, but hopefully you're still able to find your way around. So we have the 15 sectors here. And for each one of these, we have curriculum resources for teachers, but we also have virtual work-based learning. So pre-COVID, our big role at county office on my team, career readiness team, was we were coordinating guest speakers. We were coordinating site tours, internships on behalf of the 42 districts in San Diego County. Unfortunately, we can't do these in-person experiences anymore, so we've been recording virtual ones, and these are accessible for everyone and they're free for everyone. So here we're in the business sector page, and you can see here we have guest speaker presentations from a variety of companies. We have an entrepreneur. We have a ton of presentations. We also have industry panels featuring multiple employers. And then for some of them, and we're working to develop more. So let's go into engineering. So again, we have some guest speakers. We also have virtual site tours. So if you click the view button on any of these, it will take you to a YouTube video that you can share with students, other educators. You can use them in counseling sessions, whatever you need to do, direct students to check it out if maybe they're interested in a certain employer or certain industry sector. But it's super easy, and these videos range from 20 minutes to an hour. And the site tours are really the best one because it's literally like a film of their work environment. So those are pretty cool. Most of these we recorded ourselves. Some of them we've also partnered with some of our districts like San Diego Unified, as well as the community colleges, to have them share their recordings. So we're trying to make this a hub for students and educators to go to find work-based learning. And we're continually updating these resources. So if you go to a sector and you don't find anything you like, check back again soon, or feel free to reach out to me and let me know, hey, we'd love to see more in transportation or something like that. Okay, so that's our virtual work-based learning stuff. The other piece I want to show you, which also has to do with our work-based learning. So this is on our educators page. And again, I will drop this link in the chat. But we have a mailing list. And through our mailing list, we send out additional opportunities like virtual events, guest speaker opportunities that are coordinated by our employers. So they're not necessarily things that we're recording. So for example, Lumina might say like, hey, we have this great opportunity for high school educators to learn about genomics. Please share this with your network. we send that out through our mailing list, but not everyone can just join the mailing list. We require that you complete a work-based learning training, which includes some strategies on how to maximize the impact of work-based learning for students, but also how to be a good partner outside of the education system. So we do require that people complete this training. Again, it's a YouTube video. It used to be in person and more fun, but we try to reduce the time and make it feasible. At the end of the training, you are given a form and you submit your data, and we will add you to our mailing list, and you will receive all of our opportunities. And we send out about 100 a year. So definitely tune into that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will drop the link in again. Okay, so we talked about work-based learning, and then we also talked about, we haven't touched on those other two skill buckets. We talked about the essential skills and the application skills. Something that we've been working on over the summer was to create Canvas courses for educators to develop their capacity to train students in application skills, so resume writing, interview prep, and the like, as well as soft skills. So let's say I don't know anything about soft skills, but I know it's important for my students. You can take our essential skills course, for example, and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. And it's free. If you've ever taken a LinkedIn learning course or lynda.com course, it's a very similar format. So we'll go to, here, this is module 2 here on creativity, critical thinking, and resourcefulness. So it's a series of videos ranging from 2 minutes to 8 minutes on different topics. So you can see this module's topics right here. You watch the video, and at the end of each video, there's a quiz, and you have to pass the quiz to move on. They're only like 2 or 3 questions. They're very easy. They're just checking to make sure that you understand the key concepts. This is an asynchronous learning opportunity. So you can sit down in one sitting and complete the whole course. I think it takes like an hour and a half. You can watch one video a night. You can do it on weekends, whatever's convenient for you. Once you complete the course, you get access to all of the resources. So we have an entire slide deck. You get access to activity sheets, activities that can be completed online or in person, that help students develop the skills of that module. You get access to all of our citations, our research, supplemental resources, so things that we've found or that our partners have sent us that said, hey, this is a great resource for students to help them develop their dependability skills or something like that. So just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And again, we have the essential skills one, and we have the application skills training, and we're also working on an employer engagement training that'll be coming out by January. So to help people engage employers, build their capacity to engage employers, and develop their own work-based learning networks. All right. So before I wrap up here, this is just a sample email that you would receive from our mailing list. This is like a sample activity from our ITV department puts on video production workshops. So that would be an example of an activity we'd send out to our mailing list. So you'd sign up by responding to the email with this information. And again, we send out about 100 of these types of activities a year. My last thing I'm going to leave you with, because I'm about to run out of time here, is I just want to make sure that that I mention that the key to work-based learning, making sure that students get the most out of it, is student preparedness. So making sure students are doing things that before and after the activity, so that they're thinking about what they just experienced. What am I doing in class that relates to this this speaker? Or maybe doing some research about the company beforehand. This helps make sure they get the most out of that interaction with an employer. Additionally, we took some data from our work-based learning activities. We surveyed educators and employers after each activity and asked them a variety of questions. And one of the most interesting things that came out of that survey was we asked employers, like, of these items, which of these contributed most to you having a positive experience or negative experience with the school you did that work-based learning activity with. And overwhelmingly, they said what made them have a positive experience is student preparedness and engagement. So were students asking relevant, poignant questions? Had they done some research about the company beforehand? So not only does this have an impact on students, it also makes our employers more engaged. They want to do these activities when the students are more engaged. So it's a win-win. And with that, thank you so much. Again, I'm going to drop some of the links I mentioned in the chat. And there's my email, alexander.becker@sdcoe.net. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions, issues accessing some of our resources, or you just want to talk about career readiness. All right, thank you so much. And I will pass the baton.
Thanks, Alex. There were no questions, but you got a "this is amazing" from Casey. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Casey.
So that was so good, Alex. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And it really set the preface for what Pavel and I are going to talk about at work-based learning at the college level and the community college level. So we just want to thank you for setting that preface. But echoing everything that Alex just mentioned, work-based learning is, a continuum. So it does go, further into the college level. So I'll introduce myself again. My name is Veronica Middlebrooks. Again, I'm one of the work-based learning coordinators or specialists at Grossmont. And then my colleague Pavel will be co-facilitating with me.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Veronica, and all colleagues for being here. I think as Alex was mentioning, something very, very important is that work-based learning is not only for students. So we believe that it's in a group of experiential learning activities that are only set for the students. But when we see the whole full spectrum, the benefits for students, for the faculty, and for the community members, especially industry partners, that we are creating these, or uniting the workforce to support students in their career exploration and journey in general, right? So at the community college level, we starting around March, we were tasked, right? We were tasked to move completely all or find alternative for work-based learning, in each of the colleges in San Diego and Imperial. And yes, we were ready. We already have basic tools that we were utilizing, and the idea was to start thinking on all the stages, what else we could do to bring and provide or continue providing these activities, these experiential learning activities for our students, and connecting with the faculty, with the classroom learning, and beyond. Especially for those colleges that have the opportunity to have a solid career center established, right? Not all the colleges have, but we were working very close, especially at Grossmont College. We were working very close with the career center and start thinking on different tools, different ways of that we could continue bringing this to the virtual space. We work also very close with our career counselors, and we're thinking that the set of workshops were now moved to a virtual capacity. We're reaching to those champion faculty that were inviting their students, and now this time we were invited into the classroom. So our MBTI assessment continued. We seek for virtual platforms that will help on these first explorations. Alex mentioned something very important, that most of the time when a student think about work-based learning, they jump straight to the internships or the hands-on component, and that could be a problem, because if they don't have at least a basic taste of that basic idea of a potential career, right? Maybe had the chance to do an internship before or volunteer before, so that will be difficult. So that's when we come and plug our career counselors. We were providing all these MBTI assessment tools, strong interest inventory, and share this amazing group of career research sites that are also used in other colleges. With this one in particular, we took this from Mesa College Career Center website. So again, it was a collaborative effort. that help us, continue bringing these, activities for students, so they have, an opportunity to continue exploring virtual job shadows, and so.
Awesome. And then also with this, here's some other ways that you all can incorporate some virtual things. So informational interviewing. We've kind of tried to partner with a lot of different organizations and companies within our local economy. Specifically at Grossmont, we have tried to build in a really strong relationship with our employers. And so we'd have them come in and do informational sessions. Some of our key partners, VA Haas and other big companies that really hire a lot of our students. So we have them come in and say, what are they looking for when they're interviewing their potential candidates? So we've had quite a few of them this year, or this fall rather, to come in and do some of those. Also, we've held virtual career panels. So historically, it looked like the top picture in the middle. But we've tried to use our innovation with Zoom and these platforms, so it'll look very similar to what we're doing here. So being able to, again, reach out to your community partners, your employers that you're connected to, and really get them in, have a set of questions, from specific students. And then as Pavel mentioned, working as with faculty members in order to build strong relationships so we could get and select employers that are going to be very vital to helping those students see success in that field. So what they're learning in the classroom, they're going to start to apply that to, hey, I'm learning this, for example, in a computer science information systems class. The students are learning Python and JavaScript and things like that. And then we could bring in an industry partner and say, hey, this is how this course material that you're working on is going to apply when you're actually in the field. And then lastly, we've held some career fairs and guest speakers through the very cool platform, the Remo platform. We've held a advanced manufacturing fair, career fair here on this platform, and it's really cool for participants to come in and get a chance to talk one-on-one with one-on-one or in a group setting with potential employers. It was a great turnout. I highly suggest looking into those types of platforms and being innovative with your approaches in the virtual space.
Just echoing what Veronica mentioned, is that especially at Grossmont and Cuyamaca College, we have a unique characteristic because our services are also open completely 100% to the community. And that's when we see that anchor partnership with local CalWORS providers, refugee resettlement agencies, that these type of events are open to them, and that help us with present the college and open the door of the college. And we have seen an increase of attendance to these different events and workshops is because of the magic of the internet. So we see students and now their families also being part of these events. For example, with the career preparation phase on the continuum, which is most of the time led by Career Center, by career peer ambassadors and career counselors, we are still providing these virtual services to our students in the community. We monthly we are organizing different resumes and cover letter, mock interviews, preparing for interviews, workshops at both colleges, and those are conducted and recorded, so the faculty can also utilize the material after the event, for extra credit, or we see a lot of in-person growth classes, or college counseling classes, to take part in advantage of this. In addition, for the 21st century skills workshop that historically have been happening in person, right now we are also bringing this to the classroom in a virtual way. And as Veronica mentioned, we are also connecting these 21st century skills series of workshops with guest speakers. So in addition to having the general lecture, that it's all the time, it's related to the class content, then we have that industry partner that will reinforce on the content, and the student will not only see the value from the academic viewpoint, but also from the actual, workspace, and that also generate further networking opportunities for the student, and eventually connect the faculty with different industry partners that they might not know before. So yeah, very similar. We're using for this event Zoom. We are using remote platform, and for the 21st century skills, there is this virtual workshop that student can also take.
And as Alex had prefaced earlier, in this, a lot of training is going to happen when the students get that one-on-one or that interaction with the community partner or the employer. So job shadowing and mentoring is really, really key in this aspect. And there's a bunch of platforms out there where employers have started to figure out how to be innovative and share some of these resources. So, lynda.com, or formerly known as LinkedIn Learning, I know a lot of employers have been offering some services there. I strongly recommend LinkedIn as a way for students to, really put themselves out there and to connect and network with potential employers or people who work in the industry that they're interested in going into, because you just never know how organic a mentorship could formulate. And so I always encourage faculty members and teachers to encourage their students to use these platforms in a professional way, and ask questions. If they're interested in an industry, ask questions on those sites so that way they can get some more insights. We also partner again with local businesses and helping solve real world problems. And what that could look like could be research that, employers want to bring into specific classrooms or specific course material that is going to help them move their company forward. So the students could be at the center of an innovative project that's going to help that company in the future and potentially lead to a job, employment from that research project. And then lastly, volunteering and service learning. There, we'll take a look at some examples in the next slides of how you can do some service learning or some internships for students.
Yes, with this new norm or modality of the future of work, of workforce, we have seen a lot of companies moving their operation to a virtual space. So we saw many programs canceling their summer internship programs, but reinventing because the need is still there. And our students are in actually, for those who need to complete the work experience hours or the co-op hours, there are still ways of doing. For the case of internships, we have been working with different local partners and actually virtual internship providers, and found that there are still some of those out there, free of charge for students. For example, with the case of UpKey, as they are virtual internship providers. We also have seen all the micro internship programs are taking, like more emerging, more in the region, and also with working close with San Diego EDC in partnering for different initiatives, right? That they are still providing those virtual internship for students. Again, it's just a matter of connecting, contacting, and we are more than happy to, after this presentation, if you'd like to reach out and we can dive deeper on those different platforms, because we don't have too much time, but more than happy to share those opportunities with you. Yep, this kind of the way those platform looks. The UpKey virtual internship that I just mentioned. It's 100% online. The students have different areas of focus in the next cohort. For example, it starts in winter, but they were breaking one for spring and summer. And these are free of charge for all the colleges and education institutions to even become a partner, right? A student can still have access without being a partner with the college or the school. They're not partners yet, but they still can have access. But if you prefer to have a custom landing website, you can visit their upkey.com and you can request a register. With other platforms like Nepris, right? We also have seen an increase of the use of this one for the faculty to bring one of these virtual, we could say, mentorship platforms or information interviews platform, to continue providing these opportunities,
And
right?
what's cool about, I will say for educators, what's cool about the Nepris platform is they have both live and pre-recorded, so that you can always go back to it. It's free for educators to sign up, and then you can assign this for students to view. There's so many cool things that you can do with it. Very similar to what the County Office of Education is doing, and what Alex presented on earlier. It's very, very similar. And I strongly encourage you all as educators to get into that platform. It is free for you to sign up, and you can just go and browse through all of the different sectors, and it's really cool for students to get that first insight, and seeing how the employers are being very innovative. Another one is trying to just remind your students about the innovative platform of Zoom. So encouraging them to start getting comfortable using this platform and start getting comfortable with the virtual space is going to also be very key for their success.
Well, this is all for us, for our team at Grossmont College. Now, our next presenter, Maci, will take the lead on the SG21.
Hi,
Thank you,
everyone.
Veronica and Pavel.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Veronica and Pavel. So SG21, if you haven't heard about it, this is our new data reporting element. It's going to be part of MIS reporting as we move forward in the community college system. And I'm just going to explain a little bit about what it is, how the funding will likely look, and kind of what we are going to have to start doing to track and report this data in a sustainable way at all of our colleges across the state of California. So you can see here that there are a few different categories. So we have MIS data element A is on the first slide, and I'll go over B and C on the next slides moving forward. So starting with data element A, these are some examples that would fall into this top category. The message we're receiving as of now from the Chancellor is that letter A will be worth a little bit more funding, and then letter B a little bit less, letter C a little bit less, and that every student at our colleges is going to be coded with one of these letters or a not applicable if we aren't collecting data or if they're not completing work-based learning activities during their time at our colleges. So these are the different types of opportunities that would fall into the letter A category. They include apprenticeships, capstone projects, clinical experiences, cooperative work experience, education, internships, unpaid, internships paid, on-the-job training, and research-based and field experiences. Something that you'll notice as we go through letter A, B, and C is that they all are going to be students connecting in a way to an employer or an industry expert or a professional in that field. So whether they are connecting maybe one-on-one, doing some sort of internship where they're have like a mentor or something like that at their internship, or they're going to some sort of job fair and interacting with professionals in that way, or going to a career panel and interacting through a Q&A at the end of that career panel. There are tons of different ways that students can interact. I know Pavel and Veronica kind of went through some of those different ways that we're already doing it in our colleges, but this is just how they tie into future MIS funding and connect through SG21. If you want to go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So these are data elements B and C. In letter B, you'll see classroom projects or challenges with industry involvement, informational interviews with industry professionals, job shadowing, mentorships with industry professionals, simulated work experience, service learning, student-run commercial or social enterprises, and volunteering or service learning. And then down here in letter C, we have career fairs, field trips, guest speakers, mock interviews, industry speakers or presentations, and workplace or company tours. Again, you'll notice that as we've gone through this presentation, I know Alex talked a lot about all those awesome skills that students need, right? We're talking about 21st century professional skills, collaboration and teamwork skills, interview skills, resume and cover letter writing, all of those things that we're hoping our students will be able to take with them as they move through our K-12 system into our community college and university system before they are looking to start applying to jobs. And those are not listed here in the SG21 for funding purposes. That's because typically when we're teaching a student to write a resume, they're not going to be interacting with an employer or with an industry expert, sorry. So while we do definitely want to track all those activities, and we know we're all doing awesome work at our colleges to ensure students are being prepared, those are being called pre-work-based learning activities at this point, because those are really preparing students to be able to enter things like internships or to talk to an employer at a career fair, right? You don't want to show up to, or we don't want our students showing up to a career fair without a resume in hand or without those basic professional skills to meet with an employer or to ask questions about jobs or internships and all those different networking skills that we hope that they will have. So you'll notice that SG21 is pretty strictly when students are actually interacting with those different professionals and employers. And that's kind of how the funding works. If you all have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. This is really new if you haven't heard of it before and you're like, what is this? We are also learning still what exactly it is. The region came up with this awesome glossary to give us a lot more clarity as we all work to create a system that is hopefully pretty standard across the region in tracking work-based learning. And each of the different districts is coming up with their own unique ways to do this tracking at their colleges for the sake of MIS reporting. And that's pretty much all from me. But if you have questions, again, feel free to drop them in the chat and we'll try our best to answer any of those that we can.
Thank you, Maci. I don't see any questions at the moment. There have been a lot of great comments. So I'll turn it back to you guys or open it up if there are any other questions. I don't think there are any other questions.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to thank our presenters or ask them if they have any final comments or anything they'd like to add for our group. I'm getting awesome presentation, which it is.
And I'll just add one more thing to echo what Maci just shared. A lot of faculty are currently, doing some of these activities. And so this is just a way for us to kind of, as a region, as a whole, be able to collectively get on the same page with making sure that we're providing nice and great opportunities for our students. So, it seems like it's a lot. It can be very intimidating to kind of look at it like, oh, what did we do? But intuitively, you all are already doing some of these things. And so echoing what Alex mentioned earlier, I do strongly encourage faculty to go in and get that training to look at, what resources are available for students, what work-based learning is, and even to look further into job placement too, because we do have really great job placement coordinators on campus who are actively working with students to try to place them into careers that are, of their area of interest. We don't want them wasting time or money and not getting a position in their field of study.
And as we move into this new era of SG21 and that funding and what that's going to look like at our colleges, a lot of the colleges are working on developing sustainable trainings for faculty. I know I'm going to just shout out Southwestern right now. They came up with an incredible work-based learning certificate program that they rolled out this fall to really be able to give stipends to faculty to embed work-based learning into their curriculum. Cuyamaca is going to have one coming up in January for our first rollout, and I know the region is working on one to host regionally as well. I don't know exactly what all of the colleges are doing, but I know we're all coming up with our own unique ways to make sure that faculty have the resources they need to embed work-based learning into their curriculum. Like Veronica said, so many faculty at our colleges, I have been just blown away talking to faculty about all the cool assignments that they already have and all the awesome stuff that they're already doing with our students that we just have never tracked before. And so this is going to be a whole new way for us to really know about everything that's going on at our colleges and really ensure that students are gaining access, equitable access to the jobs that they want, the careers they want, just gaining awareness. I think most of us, when we look back on our career path, we're just never really taught or given access to the ideas of all the different jobs that we could have, or how our skill sets might align to different careers, or how many different careers exist at every type of business, right? Just because you work at San Diego Zoo, that doesn't mean that you're a zookeeper, right? You could be in HR, you could be in marketing, you could be anywhere across the field. And being able to really teach our students and just help bring awareness to all the ways that they can really apply their own unique skill sets and interests to so many different careers and jobs. That's really what we're trying to do and what work-based learning is all about. And hopefully giving them those hands-on skills and networking opportunities so they can really learn how to get jobs in those different fields of interest. So I just wanted to shout out some of the college's coordinators and job placement case managers that are doing such incredible work to get our students into those jobs and give them access to these different opportunities.
Thank you, Maci. This has been incredibly useful. That's one of your wonderful comments here, with a big thanks. Alex shared a bunch of resources, so those are also on the chat. Huva will be available to you for several weeks, I believe at least 2 weeks. And materials, recordings will be going back onto this link, so feel free to go back to it. At this time, I'd love to invite everybody to just turn on their videos. I was asked to capture a screenshot of everybody's happy faces. And also, if you like the session today, please do rate it. You'll see that there are 2 ways to rate. There's a like button, and I saw somebody gave it a like already, thank you, and a rate this session. So go into that rate session button and let us know what you think. And again, we really appreciate everybody's time and for really just being committed to all our students. So thank you very much. And thanks to our presenters.
Thanks for having us.
And I'll stick around here if anybody does have any questions, but if not, I think that 10 minutes of your busy schedules can come back to you, but I'll still be around for a little while. Really appreciate you guys sharing all the resources too. Thanks, presenters.
Yep.
I like your suit, Pavel.
Thank you.
You look handsome.
Yeah, ready
Speechless.
for
actually really like the group picture. You know how at the end of every session we always do a group photo, and this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It looks like people are jumping off. And I will record, I have been recording this. I will capture that recording, and I think it's going to Monica. So give us a few days to get everything up. Well, all right, team. I think that's about it. I think we can all adjourn for the day and enjoy it.
Thank
Thanks so much
you.
again.
Nice job,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Yeah, good job, everyone.
Thank you.
Great job.
Bye, colleagues.